I felt as though I was always the one that people never backed. I was always the one that was maybe second best, or people never thought I'd make it. They always thought somebody else, like one of my friends, would make it because he was better. And that, I suppose, then brought like an anger inside. You know, I still try to help as many players as possible, teammates, Liverpool, England, try to pass on my own experiences that's happened in my career. I think one of my biggest strengths can actually be one of my biggest weaknesses. Because one of my biggest strengths, I would say, is...
I said to you, my favourite story in the book is when Roy Keane comes in.
Yeah, we're all sitting in there.
Like, tell us that story, because you beat that horrible term, you're busy because you're staying behind doing extras, your dad's helping you with it. And then Roy Keane comes in. Tell us the story, because I think people will love that.
So we had a game at Gateshead. Wasn't great at all. Didn't play very well as a team. I don't even think Roy went to the game. I think it was his staff that went to the game. And yeah, really bad day, let's put it that way. But anyway, we're so getting the coach back to the training ground from Gateshead. And while we're on the coach, our coach has come to us and said, everybody's got to go into the training ground when we get there, because the gaffer's coming in, Roy, to see us. Well, everyone's face just went white.
Remind us how old you are at the time.
Must have been 18. 17, 18, I would say. And anyway, we all go into the training ground, and we're sort of waiting in this room. And and Roy comes in and says, we're basically like sort of scattered around the room. And he sort of starts off with something like along the lines of, I'm not allowed to swear on this, am I?
No, go on.
I can. He said, he said, this sums you lot up. Here, there, get together. Scurrying together, and we're all like in like half a semicircle, and he's at the front. And like literally he just goes like round everyone individually, like around, like, I think somebody had just signed and said like, we've just paid whatever for you, and who do you think you are, and blah, 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 going round and talking about like the game not good enough, and basically went round. It was heated, and I'm just standing there like thinking, if he comes to me, was just dripping with sweat. But anyway, he gets to me and sort of just like looks at us and says, do you think you could play in the first team? And just me respond, I don't know how or why, I mean, his response was just like, yeah. And he went, good, because the staff said you're the only one that was running around, or something along them lines. And then he moved on, and I'm like, thank God for that. I can relax a little bit now. But it was intense, you know, and I suppose in that moment, I didn't know why. You know, normally I would maybe have, but I was self-belief, just, I do.
Because you describe yourself as being lucky, but like that definition of lucky is when opportunity meets preparation. And that, to me, in the story was, that's your opportunity, but you back yourself, and that's the bit that really stood out for me.
Yeah, I would always back myself, but I would always back myself inside. I'd never really seen the point of coming out and backing myself and speaking and talking and telling people about backing myself. I never really felt why. I'll just sort of do me talking on the pitch is how I seen it.
How you develop that then, because I'm interested in the stuff that goes on.
The only thing I can probably think of is I felt as though I was always the one that people never backed. I was always the one that was maybe second best, or people never thought I'd make it. They always thought somebody else, like one of my friends, would make it.
So 2025 is well underway, and I bet a lot of you like me have already started to make plans on how this can be the very best year yet. And for me, making it a great year revolves around some investment, but actually investing in myself physically and mentally. So the physical investment has been a sauna that I've just had installed at home, and already I'm absolutely loving it. But the mental investment is making sure that I take time to go travelling with my kids, Flo and Seb and Harriet, my wife, on those kind of memory-making holidays that last a lifetime. But obviously both of those goals centre around needing finance. The good news is, though, that's where our new partner, XTB, comes in. They're dedicated to empowering you on your investment journey, and that's regardless of whether your horizon is short or long term. You can maybe buy stocks and ETFs commission free. You can invest passively with investment plans, open an ISA account, earn up to 4.75% interest on uninvested funds, and loads more. And the good news is it's so easy using their app. So just download the XTB app today or click the link in the description below to start making your money work for you in 2025.
Because he was better. Or if it was like player of the year, yeah, I'd maybe win it, but joint with somebody else when I was really young. So I always felt people would never back me. And that, I suppose, then brought like an anger inside. So when I played, I sort of let that anger go. And I still now I'm quite emotional when I play. And I was like that when I was a kid. You know, I was so emotional when I played because I used all of that negativity and that anger from people doubting us when I was younger to when I was on the pitch. I just used that as me sort of fuel really, yeah, to just really prove people wrong. And I suppose that's, in a way, that's where the self-belief comes in, you know, because it's like, all right, well, you're doubting us and you're doubting us and oh, he's doubting us. And there's that many people, you know, that I felt would doubt us, and it would be everywhere, really, whether I was in school, whether I was at the academy at Sunderland. I just always felt as though there'd be somebody that would be doubting. And then I'd take that sort of personally to sort of prove them wrong, and that's where.
And would you tick it off once you'd proved them wrong? It was like, next.
I wouldn't tick it off because I never felt as though there was a point where I'd be like, I've proved you wrong. As a player, you always want to play. So when you're not playing, that can be really, really difficult. And there's been moments. Again, I've improved this a lot I'm still improving, but I've improved it a lot since the gaffer first came in. Where you're not playing, it's how you react. And again, for me, if I wasn't playing, I'd be taking that as somebody's doubting us again, and I would go sort of in my shell and think, okay, I'm not in the starting 11. I'm not playing. Okay, I need to prove them wrong, and that can come across differently, especially when you're captain of a team. You know, you've got to react differently in them situations, because if other players are looking at you and seeing that you're not quite reacting in the right way for the team or in certain situations, then they're going to maybe follow that when it happens to them. And it was never a bad situation.
See, a nice bit of feedback for you was when we had Gareth Southgate on the podcast, and Gareth spoke really glowingly about you as one of his cultural architects. He spoke about you and Harry Kane as setting standards in the group and welcoming people and creating a culture where people felt they could come and be themselves and thrive. So what one piece of advice would you give to somebody listening for this about how you can set the tone?
For me personally, I would say leading by example would be giving absolutely everything, every single day, not just when things are going well. It's got to be every single day, you know, and I've lived, breathed football all my life. That's all I've loved for many years. So I take it very seriously, and I want to be the best that I can be. So by listening to people like me managers, me coaches, me teammates, doing extra work on the training ground, in the gym, to ultimately be the best person I can be, which then ultimately helps the team become successful. Being somebody who my teammates could rely on and come to with absolutely anything. Most important thing to me is the players and my teammates.
Very good.
What's your biggest weakness and what's your greatest strength?
Ooh. Is this a quick fire or is this a
different? No, still quick one.
Possibly not, though.
I think one of my biggest strengths can actually be one of my biggest weaknesses. because one of my biggest strengths, I would say, is helping other people, or trying to help other people. You know, I still try to help as many players as possible, teammates, Liverpool, England, try to pass on my own experiences that's happened in my career. And that can be my biggest weakness because I take too much on for other people, basically, which can have a negative effect at home, you know, family life. And I know that because my wife tells us all the time that I'm sometimes never there. I'm there in person, but mentally I'm not. I'm always thinking about football or something that's happened or stuff like that. So I'm always thinking about how I can help at work or football, which can take a lot away from my family, which is a big weakness for me in trying to balance that, really, I would say.